My name is Pat Delaney. I'm Kevin Delaney's wife, and we were married almost 47 years when he passed. We were married June 8th, 1968. I met Kevin at the Naval Academy. We were both 19 when we met, and we dated for 3 years. And then we were married in Philadelphia, where my parents live. And then we went to Pensacola, where he went to flight school. And we were there. We lived in Pensacola, Florida for a year, where he became a Navy pilot. And he always wanted to fly helicopters. And Vietnam War was going on. But anyway, we had 3 children. Kelly is my oldest. When my husband left for Vietnam, I was 6 months pregnant with my oldest daughter, Kelly. And when he came home, she was 9 months old. Later on, 5 years later, we had twins, Diana and Shauna, twin identical girls. And we live currently in Jacksonville, Florida. This was his last command. He had 6 commands as a naval officer. Mostly, if you have 1 command, you're lucky. He had 6. And we moved 22 times in 34 years of active duty. We live in Jacksonville because this was my husband's last command. We all love this city. It's a wonderful city. It's a Navy town. The city of Jacksonville gave the land to the citizens, to the Navy, to build an air station here. Kevin volunteered. He wanted to fly helicopters, never wanted jets, always helicopters. And he loved it. He was an excellent pilot. All pilots, whether they fly jets or helicopters or fixed wing, they think they're immortal because they have to think that way to do what they do. They fly in unbelievably awful weather at night in the dark. They're not afraid. It's incredible what they do, and they're so talented. They are the best pilots in the world. And all the airlines want them when they retire because they are by far the most qualified to fly any place in the world. He always wanted to go to Vietnam. You had to be a volunteer to fly helicopters in Vietnam. That's what he wanted to do. I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, Kelly, and I went home to live with my family in Philadelphia. He left on Pearl Harbor Day, and he came home on Pearl Harbor Day a year later. It was the longest year for me and my entire family. It was really, really hard. My father was a Navy veteran. He enlisted the day after Pearl Harbor, as did his 3 brothers, and he really believed in serving and being a patriot, and he was so proud of Kevin because he volunteered to go. He didn't have to do it, he wanted to do it. And every pilot that was trained in Pensacola, Navy pilots, they volunteered. Not every pilot, but you had to volunteer to go. So he left, and it was really hard. It was really hard for me because I was pregnant. I was living with my family. My whole family was so supportive, but I miss my husband. I miss living with my husband, and it was a long time. A year is a long time. You live in fear that they're going to die every day. And my parents' house was on a hill, and every time I went up that hill, I was thinking there's going to be the gray car waiting for me with the chaplain and an officer to tell me that he was gone. It was not easy. It was not easy. He believed in what he did. We need to fight the wars overseas. We don't need to have a war on America's ground. We just don't need to have that here. And he really believed in going over there and taking care of it and helping the country to be independent. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way. Vietnam is communistic. He did what he had to do. He flew 686 combat missions. He was a Sea Wolf. You had to volunteer to be a Sea Wolf. It is the most decorated helicopter squadron in the Navy. Still today it is. And he loved what he did, and he loved his men, and he did everything to make sure that everybody would come back. Where one of our helicopters went down, and the Viet Cong was surrounding it, and Kevin, they always flew together, 2 helicopters. He was the flight team leader. And the helicopter was on the ground. Viet Cong were coming in. Kevin landed on the ground, which he wasn't supposed to do. The other helicopter was up there shooting everybody to make sure. And the door gunners jumped out of the helicopter, ran across the field, and drug the 4 people back. Pilot, the co-pilot, the 2 door gunners who were hurt, who were bleeding. And they got him in the helicopter and they got him back to the base and they all lived. You're not supposed to land your helicopter, you're not supposed to do that, but he wasn't never going to leave anybody behind. Never. It wasn't never going to happen. He risked his life morning, noon, and night, but that's what he wanted to do. And he paid the ultimate price for it. He did get lung cancer from Agent Orange and he died. But he did what he wanted to do his whole life. He wanted to serve. He was a patriot, and he loved his men. He went above and beyond all the time to help his men. It was really hard, and I got to see him. He left in December. I got to see him in July. They gave you 5 days, R&R, and I met him in Hawaii, in Honolulu. So when he left me, I was very pregnant. When I went to meet him in Honolulu, I was very thin. My husband passed me by, he didn't even recognize me. So I screamed, I'm like, Kevin! And he turned around, he said, I didn't recognize you, you're so thin. I said, yes, I had the baby, remember? And we laughed, and so we had 5 days together, and it was wonderful. And then he had to go back, that was July, and he came back on Pearl Harbor Day. He didn't want to talk about it, and we never really talked much about it unless somebody came to the house who was with him over there, then he talked about it. It was early in the morning. I even had my dog with me. Back then we had a miniature dachshund, and so I took the dog to the airport, and he was in blues. He had more blues in a year. And he had a hat, and everybody was so happy. I had never seen my grandfather cry. He cried. He was so happy. We were all so happy to see him come home. And everybody, there are people at the airport, and this is, controversial war. Vietnam was not a popular war. We were all so excited. And we're walking out towards the end of the airport, and there were some protesters there. And my family, they were big men, and these protesters looked at my father and his brothers, and they did not say a word, because they looked at them like, go ahead, say something. Go ahead. That'll be the last thing you'll ever say. So that was an interesting time back then, but it was a happy day. The wall. Every weekend we would go to the Smithsonian or the Eastern Market, and we went to the wall many times. And when we went, we looked for names of friends, people he went to school with at the Naval Academy for 4 years, people that I danced with at graduation and the ring dance, SEALs that I knew their parents, that they died in the bay there trying to defuse mines. Every time we went, we'd see a new name and we'd remember them and we'd talk about it. This person, that to get through the Naval Academy is so difficult. And a lot of people flunk out. To get through that milestone alone is so hard. And then you train to be a SEAL. Then you go to flight school to become a pilot. Then you go to submarine school to learn how to run a submarine. It's challenge after challenge. And you get to that point where you're finally ready, you go, and then they kill you. And it's like, oh my God, all this, and then you die. But that's what they train to do. That's what it's all about. If you go there, that's what they're training you for. They're training you to go out there and protect this country so that everybody in all the little cities all over America can go to sleep tonight and not be afraid. Because you're not going to get bombed on tonight. You're not going to get killed in the street from the enemy, because these people are out there day and night on the oceans, in the air, under the sea, in a submarine, and they are protecting us because that's what they do. That's what they want to do. But I don't think people in America appreciate what the military does for them. It keeps them safe. This is America. We are free here, and we are free because other people have paid the price over and over again. And there are men and women every day in America that leave, and they're overseas, and they're not sleeping enough, they're not eating enough, but they're protecting you so that you can have a good life here with your children all over America. And you know, he served 34 years, and he helped other people learn what they needed to do so they can go out and do the same thing he did. May 29th to June 2nd, the wall will be in Wolcott and the 9/11 Memorial. Please come. Please honor the people that gave so much, who paid the ultimate sacrifice. They gave their lives. You must go to the wall, and you must honor these people who have given you so much. You don't even realize what they've given you. They've given you peace, tranquility, and a safe America. That's what they've given you. And they continue to give it to you every single day. They're in the air, they're on the sea, they're under the sea, they're everywhere, and they're protecting all of us. That's why we can sleep at night. And that's why your children can grow up and not worry about anything. They don't ever have to serve. It's a volunteer force. But the bottom line is they are there every day. You must go, and you must honor the people that never came back. These are children of America. These are husbands, these are fathers, these are brothers, these are sons, and women also that have served. Please come and honor them.